The translation from Chinese to English is, Madame Lu had previously worried that he wasn't eating enough and sent some snacks to his room, but Little Treasure locked himself up in the attic. Little Treasure loved his silence. He would normally hide in his room by himself when he was done eating. The household staff had to return their rooms immediately after completing their tasks. They couldn't make any sound or it would disturb Little Treasure, making him irritable or even lose control. Madame Lu had previously sent some snacks to his room worried that he wasn't eating enough, but Little Treasure locked himself up in the attic. Thus, no matter how much their parents loved Little Treasure, they didn't dare to move in with Ting Xiao and Jingli. Yet Little Treasure had actually taken the initiative to come out. Not only that, but Little Treasure ran towards Lu Ting Xiao and hugged his leg. Lu Jingli laughed out loud. Little Treasure, what are you doing? Hugging for some allowance. Lu Ting Xiao lowered his head to look at his son and was able to tell what he wanted in a single glance. He rejected it without any hesitation. No, you already went over last night. Thus Little Treasure's gaze landed on his phone. You already called once during dinner. Lu Ting Xiao rejected him again. Lu Jingli finally understood after watching from the side. The little guy Miss Nin Shi. Seeing that he couldn't persuade his father, Little Treasure trotted over to Lu Jingli and reused the same move. He clung onto his uncle's legs. Lu Jingli was overwhelmed by the honor. No, precious. Don't use this move with me. You know that your uncle can't stand up to your cuteness. Little Treasure usually looked dazed. The moment he wanted to plead for something, his little expression and presence could make you die of cuteness and then revive. He tilted his small head and used that pair of big, beautiful, shining star-like eyes to look. One wouldn't be able to resist plucking all the stars from the sky to give to him. The only one in the family who could resist this move would be Lu Ting Xiao. Lu Jingli shrugged helplessly. There's no use in acting cute with me, Little Treasure. I can't win your dad. Little Treasure immediately let go of Lu Jingli, absolutely cold-hearted. Lu Jingli held onto the wall and laughed non-stop seeing the little guy, looking as if he had been beaten black and blue by his parents. Ah, you actually don't have to be this anxious, Little Treasure. There's an old phrase, if the love between couples is true, then absence will only make the heart grow fonder. Wait until your dad marries Xiao Shi auntie. Then you'll be able to see her every day. His persuasion failed. The little guy trotted to the door, slammed it open and ran out. Lu Jingli shrugged. What should we do? He ate a lot tonight, Lu Ting Xiao said. The meaning in his words was that Little Treasure could currently not use the absolute tactic, a hunger strike. Lu Jingli calmed down after hearing his brother say so. However, they had really underestimated Little Treasure. He was a child. He didn't need any tactics or plans. He only needed to make a ruckus. A huge bang sounded from the living room as they had just finished speaking. Lu Jingli exchanged gazes with his brother, and the two hurried downstairs. The living room downstairs had already been trashed within such a short amount of time. An ancient flower vase in the corner that was as tall as a person had already been pushed to the floor and shattered. Everything that could be pushed over or broken had already met a similar fate. Lu Qingyu, Lu Ting Xiao would only call Little Treasure's full name when he was truly angry. Even Lu Jingli couldn't stand that frightful presence once it was released, let alone Little Treasure. Little Treasure started shaking, scared by his father's dreadful expression. His emotions got even more out of control. He screamed at the top of his lungs as he ran everywhere, breaking everything he could get his hands on. Lu Jingli hastily followed closely behind. Yet he didn't dare to follow too closely. The consequences would be terrible if they accidentally fell, since there were so many shards on the ground. Brother, we can't go on like this. Just ask Ning Shi to come over. No need. Lu Ting Xiao rejected the idea coldly. Lu Jingli earnestly tried to sway him. Brother, Little Treasure is just a child, not one of your subordinates. You're being too harsh on him. What's the problem with spoiling him a little? All children have times where they're stubborn or cause trouble. It's not your place to interfere with how I educate my child. Lu Ting Xiao's face was frosty. It seemed that he was determined not to let Little Treasure get used to the bad habit of throwing a tantrum to get what he wanted. Lu Jingli was feeling awkward, being trapped between this pair of father and son. This was such a headache. If things worsened to the point that their parents would hear about it, the matter of him taking little treasure to a bar would be completely exposed once they started investigating. Gods, please send someone to save him. When Lu Tingxiao went to capture little treasure, Lu Jingli hurriedly found his phone and secretly called Ning Shi. At night, Ning Shi was at home reading a script while half-heartedly chatting with someone online. Corrupted Devil King, little Ning Shi, can't you change your outdated QQ name? It hurts the eyes. My lonely empty loss, so Corrupted Devil King doesn't hurt the eyes. You don't feel embarrassed scolding me? Corrupted Devil King, cough. I'm coming back to China next month. Come pick me up at the airport. My lonely empty loss. Not going. Not free. Corrupted Devil King, pick me up. My lonely empty loss. I already said I'm not free. Corrupted Devil King, are you coming or not? My lonely empty loss. The person you're contacting doesn't want to talk and throws a dog over. Corrupted Devil King, the person you're contacting screws your dog. My lonely empty loss. The dog feels that it's been violated by a needle. Corrupted Devil King, asterisk 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 asterisk. How are you even more nasty than I am? Also, who are you saying has a needle? My lonely empty loss. You're the one who started acting dirty. I'm not wasting any more time with you. I still have to read my script. Corrupted Devil King, it's just a small supporting female lead role. What's there to look at? We used to have feelings for each other. Are you really going to be so heartless? My lonely empty loss. There are tons of people who used to be together with me. What number are you? Corrupted Devil King, little Ning Shi. You just wait for Laozi. Ning Shi closed her laptop and wholeheartedly started studying her script. After reading for a while, her cell phone suddenly sounded. It was an unfamiliar number. She was worried that it was the drama crew calling, so she picked up the call immediately. Hello, Ning Shi, save me. You are. I'm Lu Jingli. Come quickly to the Platinum Palace. Something's happened to little treasure. What? What happened to little treasure? Ning Zi's heart immediately tightened. It's extremely urgent. Come over quickly. Hurry. BB brother, calm down. He's still young. Little treasure, you can't smash that. Ah. Lu Jingli made it sound so serious, and with the sounds of things falling and smashing coming from the phone, Ning Shi became even more tense. She hurriedly changed as she said, I'm coming over immediately. Even she didn't know what had happened to her. As soon as she heard something had happened to little treasure, she couldn't sit still anymore. She had only known him for several days, yet he was already in her heart, and she couldn't let him go. This place was pretty far from Platinum Palace, and taking a taxi would take at least 40 minutes. Ning Shi was worried that something would happen if she took too long, so she pushed her motorcycle out and blazed off towards Platinum Palace. Ning Shi only took 10 minutes to make the 40-minute trip. Lu Jingli had most likely notified the security guards, as they let her in as soon as she gave her name. There was already a maid waiting to bring her in when she arrived outside Villa number 8. Support the translator by reading Hidden Marriage on Volar Translations. Ning Shi wore black skin-tight leather pants to make it easier to ride the bike. She took off her helmet and gloves after she rushed over hurriedly. Her long hair fell onto her shoulders like a waterfall, and her whole person looked unrestrained and handsome. She was unbelievably beautiful. Lu Jingli almost couldn't hold back his whistle watching her entrance. Lu Qingyu, do you really think I don't dare to touch you? Lu Tingxiao trapped his son in a corner of the living room. He caught him in one movement. The little guy was struggling fiercely in his hands like an extremely angry little beast, frantically waving his soft little arms. Don't. Ning Shi rushed over upon seeing the situation, and snatched away little treasure. Little treasure's expression went dazed for a second as he tilted his head up and looked at the newcomer. Then his big eyes reddened as he buried his head in Ning Zi's embrace, refusing to let go no matter what. Ning Zi's heart hatched fiercely as she saw the little bun that had been so cute, soft, and lovely yesterday, with fear in his eyes and his body trembling. She could no longer care that her opponent was the fearsome big boss. Once her temper had been raised, she fired off words like a machine gun. Mr. Lu, I know that I don't have the right to say anything as an outsider. I really want to say something though. There's a huge problem with the way you're raising him. Children need warmth when they're this small. Furthermore, Little Treasure's situation is a little special. He's been through a huge fright, and he doesn't have a mother by his side. How can you be this fierce towards him? You should be more patient and forgiving with him. Didn't you see how scared he was? You were even going to raise a hand against him. Lu Tingxiao. It was my fault. Lu Jingli. Ha ha. Lu Jingli's expression was full of joy upon hearing his own brother admitting his fault this readily. You showed me a black face when I told you there was something wrong with your education method, yet you accepted it so obediently when Ning she said it. Little Treasure was like a little puppy that had found its owner ever since Ning she had come. He let Ning she lead him back to his room obediently, a totally different person from the little lion cub that had been going crazy earlier. Ning she patted Little Treasure's head reassuringly. What happened today? Wasn't he doing just fine this morning? Lu Jingli sighed. What else could it be? Little Treasure missed you and wanted to meet with you or call you, afraid that he'd be disturbing you. My brother wouldn't let him do either of those things, so that resulted in Little Treasure causing a ruckus, running all over and breaking everything in the living room. My brother doesn't want to condone such bad habits, so the two were at a stalemate when you came in. This was all because he wasn't allowed to meet me or call me. Ning she found it a little hard to believe. Lu Tingxiao had told her that Little Treasure was quite reliant on her right now, but she didn't think she had this much impact on him. What else did you think? You're seriously underestimating your influence. Lu Jingli brought up one example after another, seeing that she still didn't understand. Remember that day in the storeroom? Little Treasure refused to let anyone touch you when you fainted. It was my brother who personally carried you to the hospital in the end. Ning she subconsciously glanced at Lu Tingxiao. Ah, Lu Tingxiao had personally carried her to the hospital. Little Treasure thought you had died when he woke up in the hospital and saw that you weren't there. He immediately went on a rampage and nearly jumped out the window. He had only calmed down when my brother gave him the note that you had left. Little Treasure used a hunger strike to force my brother to bring him to meet you last night. As for tonight, he ate too much because of your call. He couldn't use his all-powerful hunger strike, so he came up with this. Ah, ate too much. She did tell Little Treasure to eat more in the call tonight, so was this her fault now?